The company with a plumber for a mascot has a nasty little habit of breaking our favorite custom firmware on our handheld devices when they put in official firmware updates. But fear not, because the folks over at 3DS.hacks.guide have got it all figured out and got us back up and running. In this video, I'm going to show you everything that it takes to get your own 2DS or 3DS system modded the right way, and we're starting now. These important steps should not be overlooked before you start this jailbreak process. First, your device needs to be connected to the wireless internet so that you can access the Nintendo eShop. Second, you'll need to go ahead and sign in with your Nintendo account so that you can access the eShop. And if your device or account have been banned already, this process will not work for you. You'll need to either create a Mii in the Friends app or add an existing Mii to it, because it's a critical component of successful jailbreaking. And finally, you'll need to have an SD card or microSD card formatted in FAT32 format. You can do this inside your Nintendo 3DS or 2DS, or use your Windows-based computer. Starting with your system powered on and your SD card or microSD card inserted, press and hold the power button, and then tap power off to turn off the system. No matter whether you have a 3DS or 2DS, remove the SD or microSD card from the system, remembering that the new Nintendo 3DSs have the microSD card behind the back plate. Then power on your computer and insert the SD card. For this example, I'm using a newly formatted microSD card that I inserted into a new Nintendo 3DS. It creates a folder called Nintendo 3DS. Double-click into that folder and you'll find a folder here that has a 32-character alphanumeric name. That's what's referred to as the ID0 character string. Click on that string and copy it. Just hang on to it in your copy queue for now. We'll be pasting it in just a moment. But for now, you'll need to remove the SD or microSD card from your PC, put it back into your device, and then power on your 2DS or 3DS system. Once the system comes back to the 3DS or 2DS main menu, you'll need to access the Friends app. Use the D-pad to navigate up to the smiley face for Friends app, and then tap on it or select it with the A button to continue. On the bottom screen, use the D-pad to navigate to the right to pull up your friend card. If you'll take a look at your Mii on the top screen and look directly underneath your name, you'll see a 12-digit character. This is your friend code. You'll need to document this information and understand that this number is going to be different for you than the one you see for me on the video. For reasons unclear to me, the YouTube robots don't particularly like this website. I do have it linked, but I only have the 3ds.hacks.guide site linked, but the droids you're looking for are found right there on that page. Scroll down on this page until you see the two white boxes asking for data. You'll need to enter the two pieces of data that you've collected to this point. The first one being the ID0 number, the 32-character alphanumeric string that you pulled from your folder on your SD card. Paste that right in there. Then in the next box is the friend code information that you pulled from your 3DS or 2DS system. Just manually type in the number as you saw it displayed directly underneath your Mii character and your name. Then click on the green Go button. The site takes a few moments to start doing its magic. Then you'll be presented with a very large box, indicated in orange as shown here, that tells you that you need to enter a friend code on your 3DS or 2DS device. Make note of that code, understanding that it may be different depending upon the time that you use the website. Back on your 2DS or 3DS system, in the top right corner of the bottom display, select Register Friend. You'll be asked whether or not you want to register a local or internet friend. Select Internet in the bottom touch display. When the number pad comes up, type in the friend request number from the bot that you were presented with earlier from the website. Then tap on OK in the bottom right corner to continue. Give your system just a moment and you'll get a confirmation message that your friend has been properly registered. Transition back over to the website. You should see the word Done in Step 4. From here you can scroll down and you'll be able to download a file called movable.sed. Click on the green button shown here to download that file. Press the Home button and close out the Friends app. From here you'll need to activate your 2DS or 3DS camera. You can just press the left shoulder and right shoulder button at the same time to activate the camera app. Use the camera function to take a picture of the QR code linked in the description below. Line up the QR code in the top screen, and in the bottom screen, touch the QR code icon to take a picture of it and link to a specific page on the Nintendo eShop. And that eShop page is for Pokemon Picross. This is a free download. You do not need a credit card or any form of payment in order to get this application downloaded to your device. Tap on the download button on the bottom touchscreen. Tap on next to get through the game's description information. Select free download in the bottom right corner. And when prompted, select download now. The game takes a few moments to download to your SD or microSD card, and you should be all set from here. Select continue in the bottom right corner of the touchscreen, and you'll be informed that there's new software available on your device. Select OK in the bottom touchscreen to dismiss the notification. If you like opening presents as much as I do, this step's for you. Select the package with the A button, and you'll be presented with Pokemon Picross. You don't have to run the software at this point, you just need to open the present box. Go ahead and power off your 2DS or 3DS. Remove the SD or microSD card. Then reinsert the SD or microSD card into your PC. There are several downloads you need to get at this point. They're all linked in the description and they're all on the GitHub. The first one's called SafeB9S Installer. Scroll down to the Assets section and download the zip file. Next up is Boot9 Strap. It's also linked in the description and on the GitHub. Again, scroll down on this page until you get to the Assets section. But take note, only download the file that says Bootstrap, has the most recent version number, and zip. Don't download any of the other versions as they're not going to work with this process. You'll also need the latest version of Luma 3DS, which is what empowers the custom firmware to work on your system. Again, scroll down to the Assets section. Then download the zip file with the latest version of Luma 3DS as shown here. And finally, you'll need the latest version of universal-otherapp. Wait for it, it's linked in the description and hosted on the GitHub. Scroll down to the Assets section, but this time instead of grabbing a zip file, it's going to be otherapp.bin for the binary file. On the left is an open window with the Downloads section, and on the right, the root of the microSD card. You'll need to extract the 3 zip files that you previously downloaded, remembering that otherapp is already a binary file and doesn't need to be extracted. Just extract the 3 zip files and delete the zip files once you're done extracting them in order to just get the clutter out of the downloads folder and make things easier to work with. Let's slow the roll for just a minute here, because putting things in the right places on the SD or microSD card is the key to success with the process. First, grab the otherapp.bin file and drag and drop it directly onto the root of your microSD or SD card. Go into the Luma 3DS folder, grab both of the files that you see inside that folder, and drag and drop them directly onto the root of the SD or microSD card. Go back one level to your Downloads folder. On the root of your SD or microSD card, you'll need to create a new folder. Name that new folder Boot9 Strap. Once you have this new folder created and named, double-click to go right into that folder. Once you're inside the newly created folder, go back to the Downloads folder and double-click into the Boot9 Strap folder there. Grab everything that you see inside this folder and drag and drop it over into the Boot9 Strap folder on your SD or microSD card. Navigate back to the root of the SD or microSD card. Then from the Boot9 Strap folder in the Other File Explorer window, navigate back to the Downloads folder. From the list of choices, navigate up to the folder that says SafeB9S Installer and double-click into it. There's one specific file that you need out of this folder, and it's the one called SafeB9S Installer.bin. Grab that file and drag and drop it directly to the root of your SD or microSD card. Once you're done with this, leave both of these windows open, Downloads and your SD or microSD card. We've got some more work to do on the PC side of the house. There's a special online tool called the PicHaxx tool. It's linked in the description below. It's going to help you create a special save file that you need going forward. Scroll down on the page and click in the white box to navigate to the location where you have your movable.sed file that you created previously. In this case, it's in your Downloads folder. Select that file and add it to the website. Then click on the big green Build button in order to create the file that you need, and it will create it and download it automatically for you. From your Downloads folder, navigate back out of the SafeB9S Installer folder back to the Downloads folder. You'll find a new file here with a bunch of zeros in the name, the number 1 at the end of the name, and the extension SAV. It's a save file for Pokemon Picross. On your SD or microSD card, go into the Nintendo 3DS folder, Then double-click into that 32-character alphanumeric string folder. That's the ID 0. The next one inside of it's called ID 1. Double-click into that folder as well. You'll find a folder inside here called Title. Double-click into that folder also. Inside the Title folder, you should find one single folder with all zeros and the number 4 in it. Double-click into that folder. Even if you have other content already on your SD or microSD card, specifically go into the folder called 0017C100. Inside that folder, you'll find a folder called Data. Double-click into the Data folder. It's inside this folder where the save game files live, and there's already one present because you unwrapped the package with the game. Grab the replacement save file from your Downloads folder and drag and drop it into this folder. And when you're prompted by Windows, select Replace to replace the existing save file with the one that you created through the PicHaxx website. Alright, you're done with these windows for now. You can go ahead and close out any File Explorer windows that you have at this point. Remove your SD or microSD card from your computer, put it back into your 2DS or 3DS system, and then power on your 2DS or 3DS system. From the main menu, navigate to Pokemon Picross and launch the game for the first time. It's actually going to bypass the game launch itself and go into what's called Safe B9S menu system. In the bottom touch display, you should see a message that says All checks passed. If you don't see this, don't proceed. Also, when you scroll up to the top menu, you'll see a series of directional D-pad presses and a letter to press in order to activate the next step of the process. Follow those key combinations exactly as shown on your device. If you've done everything correctly up to this point, you'll boot into the Luma 3DS setup menu. Use the D-pad to move the red highlight down to Show NAND or User String in System Settings and select it with the A button to mark it. Once you have this selected, press the Start button on your device to reboot. Once your system is restarted, you'll need to power it off, remove the microSD or SD card, and put it back into your computer. We've got some more files to grab. At this point, you can delete everything that's in your Downloads folder, remembering, of course, that it's all still backed up and archived in your recycle bin. This will make the next task a lot easier to manage as there's a lot of new content incoming. The first of these is called Anemone. It's linked for you in the description and hosted on the GitHub. This product lets you create custom themes for your 3DS or 2DS. Scroll down to the Assets section and click on anemone.cia. Checkpoint is an application that lets you manage game save files on your 2DS or 3DS system. It's hosted on the GitHub and linked in the description. Scroll down on the page to the Assets section and download the file labeled checkpoint.cia. Next up on the list is the universal-otherapp. This app works kind of like a Homebrew browser in that it lets you download and install other Homebrew applications. It's linked in the description and hosted on the Git. Navigate down to Assets and download universal-otherapp.cia. Next up is the Homebrew Launcher Wrapper. This lets you launch Homebrew applications from your 2DS or 3DS. Scroll down on the page to the Assets section and click on the homebrewlauncher.cia file to download it. If you've ever wanted to have deity-like powers over your 2DS or 3DS system, God Mode 9 is just the ticket. It's linked in the description and hosted on the GitHub. It's going to empower some key settings that you need in order to permanently mod your 2DS or 3DS with custom firmware. Scroll down to Assets and download the God Mode 9 zip file package shown here. The FBI application is what makes it possible to install the CIA software on your 2DS or 3DS system. Link in the description, hosted on the Git. Scroll down to the Assets section, but this time you need to download two files. You need to grab fbi.3dsx and also download the file labeled fbi.cia. In the File Explorer window on the left side are all of the things that you just downloaded to your computer. And in this File Explorer window on the right side are all of the things that are on your 2DS or 3DS SD card. You'll need to create a new folder on the root of your 2DS or 3DS SD or microSD card. Name this folder 3DS. Once you have this folder created, you'll need to create another folder. Right-click at the root of the SD or microSD card and select New Folder. This time you'll need to name the folder CIAS. You can do both of these folders in lowercase. To start the file copy over process, make sure that the CIAS folder is highlighted. Now you can go over to the Downloads folder and highlight all of the CIA files you just downloaded. Then just drag and drop them directly onto the CIAS folder that you just created. Now you can go back to your Downloads folder and delete those CIA files as you won't need them any longer. And don't forget, they'll still be backed up in your recycle bin. Next up, 3DSX files. Grab the FBI.3dsx file and drag and drop it directly on top of the 3DS folder you just created on your SD or microSD card. Then go back and delete that file out of your Downloads folder. Now we can start to copy over the God Mode 9 files. You'll need to extract the zip file that you just downloaded that contains the God Mode 9 content. Once you're done with that, delete the zip file out of your Downloads folder to eliminate clutter. Navigate to the new folder that you just uncompressed. Inside that folder, locate a subfolder called GM9. Click and drag that folder directly onto the root of your SD or microSD card for your 2DS or 3DS system. Next step, locate a folder on the root of your SD or microSD card named Luma. Remember, that folder might be higher or lower in the list of files and folders you have on your microSD card, depending upon the organizational structure. Double-click into the Luma folder. From here, right-click, select New and Folder. You'll need to create a new folder and name it Payloads, P-A-Y-L-O-A-D-S. Once you have this folder created, double-click into it. Back in the Downloads folder, and in the God Mode 9 folder you uncompressed, locate a file called godmode9.firm. You'll need to copy this file to the Luma/Payloads folder on your SD or microSD card. Once you have the file in place, you can close out the File Explorer window that covers your SD or microSD card. Navigate back to your Downloads folder, and at the root of your Downloads folder, delete the God Mode 9 folder that you uncompressed here. Remember, it's still backed up in your recycle bin if you need it later. Now you can close out this instance of File Explorer, remove your SD or microSD card from your computer, insert it back into your 2DS or 3DS system, and power on your device. Back at the home screen, you'll need to run a system update. To do this, navigate to the System Settings application and launch it. Once the Settings main menu comes up, navigate to the Other Settings section by tapping on it. Inside Other Settings, just keep tapping the right navigation arrow on the right side of the screen until you get all the way to the end, and then select System Update from the menu choices. From there, it's just a matter of tapping on the usual parade of OKs and I accepts. At the end of this, you should get a message that says the system is up to date. Tap on the OK button to continue. You'll be taken back to your 2DS or 3DS main menu. Once you're back at the main menu, navigate to the Download Play Store and launch it by tapping or selecting it with A. When the Download Play section appears, you should see two buttons at the bottom. From this screen, press and hold the left shoulder button, down on the D-pad, and the select button all at the same time. You'll be taken to what's called the Rosalina menu. All of Rosalina's functions take place in the bottom touchscreen, but use the D-pad and the A and B buttons for navigation. Use the D-pad to press down repeatedly to move the blue highlight down to the Miscellaneous section. Then select Miscellaneous with the A button. With the arrow highlight already in place, press the A button on, switch the HB title to the current app. You should see a confirmation message of Operation Succeeded. Press the B button to go back, then press the B button again, and press the B button again. You'll be back at the Download Play menu. Press the Home button, then tap on Close in the bottom left corner to close out Download Play and go back to the main menu of your 2DS or 3DS. Might seem a little strange, but you literally need to go right back into the Download Play app. Tap it or select it with A. Except this time, it should take you elsewhere. It should take you to the Homebrew launcher. Okay, just like before, you'll need to activate the Rosalina menu. Press the left shoulder button, down on the D-pad, and the select button on your 2DS or 3DS system. Use the D-pad to move the highlight back down once again to Miscellaneous Options and select it with the A button. From the list of menu choices presented here, use the D-pad to scroll the highlight down to Dump DSP Firmware and select it with the A button. When you get the confirmation message that the DSP firmware has been successfully copied to the SD card, press the B button to go back. Now use the D-pad to go up one listing in the menu choices to Nullify User Time Offset. Select it with the A button to continue. Once this process has been completed, press the B button to go back, press the B button to go back again, and press the B button again to exit the Rosalina menu. Next step, time to join the feds. Tap on FBI in the bottom touchscreen. Using the D-pad and the A button, select SD from the list of choices in the bottom touchscreen. Then use the D-pad to scroll down to CIAS, the folder you created, and select it with A. You'll see all of the CIA files you copied over to it here. Your highlighter will already be on Current Directory, selected with A. Then scroll down to the list of choices to Install and Delete All CIAs, and select it with the A button to continue. And at the confirmation prompt, tap on Yes or select it with A. All of those CIA files will be installed and subsequently deleted in order to save space on your storage card. Once the installs are complete, tap on OK or select it with A to continue. Now you're done with FBI. Press the Home button, and you'll be greeted with a message that you have new gifts to unwrap. Tap on OK at the bottom of the touchscreen, then tap on the OK button to close this notification, and you'll find all of those CIA installed files waiting for you on the home screen in gift boxes. Time to rip some wrapping paper off some boxes like a kid on Christmas Day. Your 2DS or 3DS will thank you for it. At this point, power off your 2DS or 3DS system. When you power your 2DS or 3DS system back on, you'll need to hold the Start button and then power on the system. This will boot your system into the God Mode 9 menu. If you're prompted to create an Essential Files backup, press the A button to do so, then press the A button to continue once the backup's complete. And you also might get prompted to set the real-time clock. If you get this prompt, press the A button, set the date and time on your system, and press the A button to confirm. From the God Mode 9 main menu, press the Home button to pull up the Action menu. Use the D-pad to move the highlighter down in the bottom touchscreen to Scripts and select Scripts with the A button. From the list of choices, select GM9 Megascript with the A button. Then use the D-pad to scroll the arrow down until you get to Scripts from Playlist Guide and select it with the A button. In the next menu, select Set up Luma 3DS to CTR NAND with the A button. This step empowers your 3DS or 2DS to be able to boot custom firmware without the SD card installed. Select Yes with the A button to continue, and you'll be prompted for unlock permissions. Select Yes with the A button to continue, and you'll be prompted to enter a combination of D-pad and button presses to confirm. Enter exactly what your device shows on screen with your D-pad and appropriate buttons. You'll get a confirmation message that Luma 3DS has been copied over successfully. Press the A button to continue. Use the D-pad to move the arrow down to Clean up SD card and select it with the A button. You'll be asked to confirm. Select Yes with the A button to continue. You'll get a message that everything is now squeaky clean. Press the A button to continue. Then press the B button to go back to the God Mode 9 main menu. From the main menu, select Backup Options with the A button. Then select SysNAND Backup with the A button. This process actually takes about 7 or 8 minutes or so, and you'll need about 1.5 GB worth of storage space on your SD card. Press the A button to start the backup process. Once the backup's complete, it's going to show you a destination on your SD or microSD card where the backup's been saved, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. For now, press the A button to continue. Then press the B button to go back one level in the menu. Use the D-pad to move the arrow down to the listing that says Dump Options, and then select it with the A button. In this submenu, use the D-pad to move the arrow down to the listing that says Dump boot9.bin and boot11.bin, and select it with the A button. Press the A button to confirm, and you'll get these two files backed up in the same folder that you just created your SysNAND backup on your SD or microSD card. Then press A to continue. Press the B button to go back, and you'll be prompted to lock your SysNAND. Press the A button to lock the SysNAND on your 2DS or 3DS. Focus your attention on the top display for a moment. Use the D-pad to move that white highlight down until you get to the S SysNAND Virtual selection, and then select it with the A button. In the submenu, use the D-pad to move the highlight down to Essential EXEFS and select it with the A button. Now shift your focus to the bottom display. Use the D-pad to move the highlight arrow down to copy to O/GM9/out, that same directory we've previously been using. Then select it with the A button to continue. You'll get a confirmation message. Select Continue with the A button. Back at the God Mode 9 main menu, press the Home button on your 2DS or 3DS. From the bottom touchscreen menu, use the D-pad to highlight Power Off System and select it with the A button. Then remove your SD or microSD card from your system and put it back into your PC. Now's our chance to take advantage of that GM9 out folder. From the root of your SD or microSD card, go into the GM9 folder. You'll find the out folder listed in here. The backups you made from your 2DS or 3DS system are in this out folder. Copy this folder, and I would recommend that you paste it somewhere on your computer where you can archive this information safely. In this case, I'm just going to put it in the downloads folder because I just cleaned out the downloads folder across this process. So I'm just going to paste the out folder right here into downloads. You can archive this wherever you feel like it's best saved on your computer. And if you're like me, several months from now, if you go back to get this information, you won't remember what the folder out's about. So you might want to consider renaming that folder once it's archived on your computer. Go back to your SD or microSD card, and this time, double-click into the out folder. There are a couple of files inside this folder you can delete in order to save a tremendous amount of space, well over 1 GB, on your storage card. And both of them have the word sysnand in the file name. In this case, it's the first 2 files shown here. Now that you have this data archived on your computer, you can delete these 2 files and save a gigantic amount of space on your storage card. Once you have these 2 files deleted, you can close out File Explorer, remove the microSD or SD card from your computer, put it back into your 2DS or 3DS system, and then power on your system. Now that your 2DS or 3DS system is jailbroken, you can do cool stuff with it, just like you see on this video here and linked in the pinned comment and description below.